I've been money craving, started shoebox saving, made some puzzle placements. I know what this life gon' come with, know that they gon' go and hate it when you make it.
Welcome back, Nationwide Sports Talk. I'm Matt Mackey, live from West Virginia. Wild and wonderful, y'all. My main man Caleb, live from Morgantown. Say what's up, boss.
What's going on, guys? Hope everyone had a great week. We're back. Have a lot of sports to talk about, so let's get into it.
Lots to get into, but first we're going to start out in saying this. We are no longer part of this unhinged sports network that we were talking about, and that's mainly because it didn't really work well with Caleb and I's schedule like we thought it would, and they want us to produce 2 episodes every Sunday night for the Monday episode and every Thursday night for the Friday episode. And it got to the point where Caleb and I were thinking about, like, why would we do an episode the day after the games when the games are still going on while we're doing the episode, if that makes sense? And we didn't think it was right. We didn't think it was, like, nice to do. So it was like, all right, we're just going to go separate ways, but we appreciate the opportunity. So we're going to get that off the record first. Before anything's been said, we're going to say what happened first. That's what Caleb and I came up with, and we were like, let's just step back and keep doing our own thing and produce every Friday episodes and just call it a day. So now time for the episode, the juicy stuff, the juicy sports. A lot went down. 2 games NBAs went off. And we thought we had a series going after Game 3, right, Caleb?
Yeah, I mean, we both kind of thought LA was going to run away with it because of Game 1 and 2, but the Heat came back in Game 3 and kind of showed everyone why they were in the finals.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler dropped a 40-point triple-double that game in Game 3, and he made LeBron walk off the court. Like, LeBron was mad. And, I mean, I've seen LeBron do that before, but, like, back when he was down 3-0 to Golden State, he played for Cleveland, and his team was down by 25 in that Game 4. I mean, before he walked off the court, he dapped everybody up. Draymond, KD, Steph, he dapped them all up. But in that Game 3, with, like, 20 seconds left?
I believe so.
He literally just stepped off the court, headed to the locker room. Pissed off.
It was it was kind of just a poor performance. I mean, LeBron had 25, AD had 15, and then Kuzma and Markieff Morris had 19, but it was a sloppy game for him. Turning the ball over, missing shots, just a rough game for him. But Miami they can't help it. They came out and played. I mean, there's really nothing the Lakers could have done that game, I feel. Miami just came out and they were the better team for that Game 3.
Yeah, and, basically what you said earlier about the series, that Miami could win if they made threes. But let's be real. In that Game 3, they shot 12 or 34. So they won the game with only 12 threes when the Lakers made 14 or 42. But it's great that Jimmy had a hell of a game, 40 points, 11 rebounds, 13 assists. And from watching the game, this is the first time ever in LeBron's NBA Finals history someone has outscored him, out-rebounded him, and out-assist him. That's crazy to me. And all the finals LeBron's been in, that's crazy to me. That it's the first time ever. It took that long, and Jimmy Butler's want to do it. But like you said, it was literally a poor performance. I mean, Dwight Howard, 15 minutes, 4 points. 15 minutes, 4 points.
What's really, really kind of shocking to me is, everyone kind of talks about basketball, and especially with this series, like I know I've stressed it a lot that AD is the key factor for this Lakers team. AD out-rebounded, and the whole Lakers team out-rebounded the Heat. And, you hear a lot about in basketball that, whoever has more rebounds, 9 times out of 10, they're going to win the game because you control the board. And that just did not happen in this game. And it's really shocking to see, such a, I wouldn't say a lopsided game on the boards, but LA definitely had a lot more boards than Miami. And Miami was still able to find a win with shooting, only 2% better from 3. They're a scrappy team. And that's probably I've said it before. That's probably my favorite thing about this Miami team is they're young and they're scrappy. And, just showing that Jimmy Butler can do this in game 3, I think probably Friday night might be the end of it. But this Miami team is going to be good for a while.
Yeah, and it wasn't just like the fact that Jimmy outscored him too. I mean, like he did, but the Heat were about Bam, Goran Dragic. So they had Tyler Hero starting for them for Goran Dragic. That's good for Tyler Hero. He's finally getting what he deserves, a starting spot. And but he did his 36 minutes. He had 17 points. Not bad at all. When he was on the court, he had a +1 ratio. So, with that being said, I just think that it's going to be over tomorrow night. Oh, yeah, tonight.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Well, tonight whenever the episode comes out. But
yeah, tonight.
Yeah. I can't agree more with that. I can't stress it enough, man. I just think this Lakers team is just too good. And this Miami team, I saw Bam's coming back, right?
Yeah.
He was back for game 4, but I think they're too good with that duo of LeBron and AD. It's unreal.
It is. They combined 50 points total. 34 of it came in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's just a crazy stat right there. And you're going to win the ball game when 4 out of your 5 stars are in double digits. Let's be real. Pretty much 28 points for LeBron, 22 for AD, 15 for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 10 for Danny Green. I'm waiting for Danny Green to go off.
He's I saw in a post-game interview, he was, he's kind of just always been used to being that star player, so he's always had people on him. Not really used to taking those wide-open shots, but you're in the NBA, man. You got to make them. You got to make those wide-open shots.
You're known for the three-point, buddy. You're shooting 2 for 6.
Yeah. And, if you just think about, if he goes 5 for 6 or 6 for 6 for 3, then, this game could be completely different. Every game could be completely different. So it's just crazy to see how, he's not making his shots. Kuzma's still inconsistent some nights. I try to give him the benefit of doubt.
I'm not. Sorry, but you're in year 3. That's done.
But still, that they're still able to kind of win these games. The past 2 games, game 4 wasn't as lopsided as game 1 and game 2, but still they're able to win those games lopsidedly without Kuzma performing well and without Danny Green performing well.
And not just Kuzma, it's Dwight Howard. He's starting the game in game 4, and he had 8 minutes.
And 0 points.
Bro, you're a starter in the NBA, and they're only letting you have 8 minutes.
With 2 rebounds.
That's disrespectful right there. You're a starter, and you only had 8 minutes the whole game. He ain't doing jump ball because AD is.
But what I don't see what you need him in there for though.
Exactly.
If you don't have, which for game 4 I can understand because they had Bam back, but for game 3, I would just try to. I wouldn't say run small ball because you have LeBron and AD, so you obviously can't run small ball, but run your version of small ball. Have AD at the center, have LeBron at the 4. LeBron can still play every position on the court, even if you have him at the 4. Hell, start Caruso, start.
No, not even that. Start Marcus Morris.
I was just thinking, go
or
just
Kuzma.
Guards. Yeah, I was just thinking more just guards and have LeBron and AD at your 4 and 5, and then you fill out the rest 3 guard positions.
Do that.
Because like I said, if they don't have Bam in there, Kelly Olynyk, he's a good center, but it's tough.
Kelly Olynyk. Did he play for Gonzaga?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. WVU.
He was good there. He was really good.
college ball. So with Jimmy Fredette, look where he is. China. For the Shanghai Sharks.
He's killing it out there, isn't he?
I think so, but it's Chinese basketball.
Yeah, but hey, still playing professional. So
Exactly. So that's NBA. So prediction for tonight's game. You like Lakers or Heat? Lakers in the series. Heat keep fighting on.
I think Lakers end it tonight. I just think they're the better team.
Yeah, I think AD and LeBron. I think LeBron's going to go off. No doubt about it. I'm looking for AD to have at least 30 points. Calling right now. And who's your Finals MVP?
I want to say AD. I want to say if he gets 30 tonight and solidifies it for him, I want to say AD gets MVP Finals.
That's I'm going with. Now, we've taken a look to the other sports league, NFL football. It was a great week at NFL football. Not gonna lie, COVID took away the Steelers and Titans game. So that game was not played. And COVID also messed up one of my predictions for the Patriots and Chiefs game. I had the Patriots win it if Cam Newton was playing. So technically, those are my exact words. Those were my words. If Cam Newton is playing. So, could I have changed my pick, Caleb? Or you make me stay with the same pick?
I'm making you stay with the same pick because I'm down. I was down going into last week, so it gives me a little bit of an advantage.
I'll let it slide. So that Chiefs and Patriots game got moved to Monday night as well, same night as the Monday Night Football game. So that was a good game. Two good games to look forward to watching. And I feel like, I will say this, if Cam Newton played that game, it was a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
100%.
I totally agree with that. He's such a big key to that offense.
Yeah.
And it would have been a show to see him and Patrick Mahomes battle against each other.
Yes, exactly. That's what I wanted to see so bad. But now, listen to this. For this week, Stephon Gilmore has tested positive.
That's tough.
Very tough. And another takeaway from this past weekend, the NFC East is bad. Very, very bad.
Yeah, it's but is that really a big takeaway though? I mean, I feel like everyone's kind of felt like the NFC East has been bad.
It's a big takeaway because your division leader is 1-2-1.
That's true.
And the person second is 1-3. Third place is 1-3. Fourth place is 0-4. Bad. Pitiful.
I mean, but like I said, the NFC East has always
trash.
kind of been bad.
No. It's been the most hard knocks division. I will say that because you're fighting for 8-8. It's been hard knocks.
I mean, yeah, you're fighting for it, but it's still compared to the other divisions. It's still, I would say, still pretty bad.
It's not fun to watch.
No.
I'll
not
say
fun
that.
to watch
Like,
at all.
It's never been fun to watch. It's just the fact that it's used to being like fighting, like a lot of
Very competitive.
Knit and grit games.
Yeah.
It's not like the fun games when you have like Chiefs blowing out the Raiders by 40, but then oh gosh, they got the Chargers next week, the Broncos next week. It's gonna be a good game. It's not like that at all. Like it's always like you don't know who's gonna win the game. That's what I mean by like competitiveness. Like like the football team and Giants, they play each other. I don't know who's gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, if Saquon came back, I would definitely say probably Giants, but I would think.
We ain't talking about that, but I'm talking about like in the past.
But, yeah, for sure. I understand that. I mean, my whole point on it is I feel like a lot of people have really not looked at the NFC East and saw it as a really good division.
Only division with every team has a Super Bowl.
That's true. And I mean, back in the day, it was the hardest division to ever play in. But now you kind of see it taking that fallback. But, I mean, every team is bound for their downfall. Whether it be the division like it is for the NFC East is kind of tough to say. But
is it really like a downfall? I'm just thinking to myself like.
I mean, for the Cowboys, not so much. They've played tough teams.
I'm gonna go on a rant about that here soon. Don't you start with that.
not me being terribly biased, we played the Ravens. That's a tough game for us.
Y'all play the
playing-
Rams.
Playing Kyler Murray was a tough game. Eagles had a tough game with the 49ers. They came out with a victory in that one. And then they somehow tied with the Bengals. But, I mean, it's Joe Burrow. So it's like –
But then
I don't
again,
know.
like
It's
if the
very tough to
49ers
see.
weren't injured and beat up, would they?
I feel like 49ers probably would have blown them out, to be honest.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. It's tough to see. I mean, I don't even have a clear-cut winner for this division now.
No one does.
I mean,
No one
like
does.
going into the year, I probably would have said Cowboys just because of that how stacked that team is.
You said Eagles.
But the way you're always,
Don't lie now. Don't you lie now. You said the Eagles.
I mean, but now looking at your all's team, I would say probably the Cowboys. But after watching your all's defense, it can't be, and I can't even have a clear cut winner.
You ready for my rant?
Let's hear it.
All right, here we go. Cowboys rant. Everyone knows I'm a Cowboys fan, die hard, and will support them no matter what. But here's why I have concerns. Mike McCarthy comes in as head coach, okay? I was not expecting a stellar year right off the bat. No one does when a new coach comes into play, in my eyes. So you make changes, and then you hire Mike Nolan as a defensive coordinator. Now, let's roll back a couple years, mainly 14 years ago. Mike McCarthy was hired as Mike Nolan's offensive coordinator in 06, okay? Okay. Nolan gets fired. McCarthy goes a head coach in 07 for the Packers. We on the same page still, Caleb?
Yep.
All right. So, Mike Nolan's last job was with the Falcons in 2014 as a defense coordinator. That defense was ranked last in every single category. 28th, 29th, 30th, and 32th. Okay? So, the good old boys want to hire somebody who scratched their back in the day. Mike McCarthy knew Mike Nolan was needing a job. Oh, I got you, bro. You hired me back in 06? I'll get you a job. I'll hire you myself. That's what happened. So you're going to hire a defensive coordinator who was fired as a head coach and last coach with a team in 2014 who was last in every single category. What sense does that make at all?
None.
So, going off, here we go. Mike McCarthy was given a gold mine with that offense he has. Set in stone. Boom, it's flat on the table, on the depth charts. It shows. Defense was good last year and the year before. But what happens? No, we're not going to pay Byron Jones. You can go ahead and walk. Let him walk. I'm fine for that. Going into the 2020 draft, we knew we needed someone to fill that Pro Bowl safety spot or corner because he played both. And what do? Yeah, draft a slot receiver. So I sit back and I'm like, it's not a bad pick. It's the fact that you need to fill the needs where the needs need to be filled. So I was like, okay, I'll let it slide. They better draft all DBs second, third, fourth, fifth round. They did. But you had stars in that spot. You had main guys you could have drafted. But no, we're going to go to slot guy because he'll make more money for us. Okay. That's fine. So, and then in the Browns game, the Cleveland game, he doesn't perform. You have a guy who's drafted in the 6th round, leads the team in receptions. Cedric Wilson from Boise State. You're not even using CD Lamb. Use another slot guy. And what happens? The Browns run for over 300 yards because there's no secondary. And then there's no heart. There's no pride. DeMarcus Lawrence had 14.5 sacks, then 10.5 sacks because he wanted paid. Okay. 14.5 sacks, got him a franchise tag, which got him 10.5 sacks. He said, I'm feeling the money now. I'm going to get this money now. What happens next? Boom. You get paid now, buddy. You deserve it. Yeah, I'm going to get 5.5 sacks now. That's all I'm going to get. Odell Beckham's reverse run. Okay. Jalen Smith saw the reverse coming. Boom, pitched off to him. Rolling around. That man's walking. Walking.
He broke at least 4 tackles on my play as well.
Exactly. And Jalen Smith is walking. Oh, he broke through everybody. I got to run now to show that I care a little bit. And what do? Oh, he got an end zone. I still get a tackle. Come on, bro. This is what I'm talking about. It's about heart, pride, and stupidity. And that's what McCarthy did by hiring Mike Nolan as defense coordinator. I mean, Dennis Vidal, Van Der Esch is hurt, Sean Lee's hurt. But we all know about Sean Lee's made of glass. He's always hurt. I'm used to that. I ain't hear that petty bullshit anymore. But Van Der Esch is hurt again. Broke his collarbone. Because that man's a beast. He'll play every play of the game no matter what. But he broke his collarbone. So what needs to be changed with this, McCarthy, is because no one scratched your back in 06. Don't mean you got to scratch his back 14 years later. Plain and simple. My rant's done.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. It's kind of a dumb hire to go out, like you said, and hire someone who was dead last in the league in every category on defense, which Falcons have always had a bad defense. So, it might be Nolan's fault or it might not be. But
it's Nolan's
the
fault.
simple fact that Nolan still was the defensive coordinator and was still dead last would have been enough right there to not hire him.
And he got fired. 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 You're fired.
So, I mean, granted, I think Euro's team is set up for a Super Bowl, especially your offense is set up for a Super Bowl. But that defense is, I don't even know if it's NFC East contender worthy.
No. And then to go off this, yeah, Dak has had 3 games in a row of 450 yards. Me and you talked about that. Yeah, he did that. But when you played football back in the day, Caleb, let's be real. Your team's up by 20 points. You trying hard at all anymore?
Not really. I mean, especially if you're going up against. Here's the thing. Coaches game plan weeks and weeks ahead. So, for instance, I mean, let's just go look back and look at the last Browns game. It was Washington football team. And they were up, beating us by a decent amount. Can't even remember. Wanted to forget it. So I'm sure they probably wanted to at least run some plays, at least a handful of plays that they were going to run against the Cowboys just to see if they would work. And then you have that whole week to prepare for them. You already know this defense is bad. So I feel like just going into the game, it was just not good for the Cowboys, for that defense.
Another thing before you continue. When the score was tied, 14-14, I was listening to Skip and Shannon. Shannon Sharp knows his shit. I will say that now. He made a very clear point this. Score was 14-14. Cowboys had 5 drives. 5 drives before the next point was scored. And what happened? Dak went 8 for 15, 53 yards, 1 fumble, no points. 8 for 15, 53 yards, 1 fumble, no points. So, as I'm sitting back looking at this, I says, okay, Browns defense is not that good. But all of a sudden, when the score, you're down by 17, you're hitting receivers left and right. Why? Because they're not trying anymore. They're done. I'm up by 17 going in the fourth quarter. I got this game in the bag. I ain't worried about it. So why should I continue to try?
Here's my biggest takeaway. And I really understand that the game has transitioned from a run game to a passing game. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes has changed that. But I want to say like the first quarterbacks that really changed that I've saw were like Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady, like that I truly saw from me growing up. It's obviously now changed to more pass heavy than it was back then when they were playing because of Patrick Mahomes. But why are you handing the ball off to your best player only 12 times and he's only getting 52 yards? Why?
Exactly.
When you literally took all your money and invested it into him, didn't invest it into Dak, your starting quarterback, but you only want to hand the ball off 12 times. To me, it doesn't make sense. I understand Mike McCarthy is a more pass-heavy coordinator.
It doesn't.
But it's to me, like, I'm not even a Cowboys fan, and I'm still, like, getting mind fumbled around it because it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense, Caleb.
I mean, you saw what Washington football team did last year when they had Adrian Peterson. Granted, we did have Dwayne Haskins as a rookie quarterback in there, but still handing the ball off almost every possession to Adrian Peterson. Why? Because he's a Hall of Fame, proven, great running back. And it's the same thing with Zeke. I mean, like I said, I'm not a Cowboys fan at all, but he's a proven great running back. He's been the same way since Ohio State. So, got to hand him the ball off more.
So let's go off this Cowboys talk because it makes me more frustrated and more pissed off as I talk about it. We're 1-3. It's nothing new. But let's talk about the team that's 0-4 who fired their head coach, the Texans. Bill O'Brien was fired after starting 0-4 this season. You think it's deserved for him to do that?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you trade away Hopkins because you're the GM too. You deserve to get fired.
But here's the thing. You never, ever, ever take a coach, hire him as your head coach, your play caller, your GM, your contract negotiator. I mean, he literally ran the entire team. The only thing he didn't run was being the president of the team.
Owner,
sorry. But, I mean, still, like, you don't give your head coach every single position in the front office. I understand he came from a dynasty and he's been around Belichick and this, that, and the third. He's, was a great coach coming into the Texans. I understand it, but maybe head coach, maybe play caller, those two things I understand. I think a head coach should be, and I've never been in an NFL locker room, but I think they are involved somewhat in the contract negotiations. Since, they are more in charge of the players than anyone else. But to be your main contract negotiator, just not smart on the Texans' part. So I really think that their owner has learned from that, I would hope, and not assign someone to be the head coach / entire front office next time.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. And it all started his fire. It came down after – everyone knew it was in talks when he traded Hopkins. Everyone knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I figured it was going to be 4 or 5 games into the year if they didn't perform well without Hopkins. But here's my thing with the Texans, though, as well. I mean, they've played probably the toughest schedule. So I wouldn't say that the losses are on Bill O'Brien, but you traded away your best receiver. And like I said, you're still in charge of everything in the front office except for being the owner of the team.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me on why, but when you trade your best player away and you're 0-4,
it's not a good look.
There's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's definitely some consequences going to happen. So let's go to NFL. What?
I was going to ask you a question. I was going to say, do you think they should have just fired him at all? Which, I mean, I think it was a good choice to fire him, but do you think they just should have taken some of the responsibilities off him and just made him head coach and play caller? Do you think he would have focused more on the game if they would have taken if they fired him from scout or fired him from contract negotiation?
He wasn't really
good coach. Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I think probably if you would have done that as well, probably would have just added spite in his heart and probably would have just not done anything anyway. So yeah, I think it was definitely a good call. I'm excited to see what Watson can do though with a new coach down there.
But to me, it's the fact that it's kind of hard when you fire a coach middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
It reflects a lot of different things, and it's just weird because you really don't know because you're trying to form your team still. You're 0-4. I get that 100%, but you're going to fire the coach 4 games in the season and expect a big change right away.
Yeah, that's literally what I was gonna say. I was gonna say while it's everyone kind of thinks it's a good move on their part, it kind of looks bad on the organization as a whole. I mean, you fired your coach 4 weeks in. That's not a very good look, especially when you played, like I said, probably the 4 toughest teams you could play against to start your season without a star receiver.
100%, 100%. But let's get into NFL picks. So last week, Caleb beat me. He went 11-3. I went 10-4. So, Caleb, I'll go ahead and let you know you beat me that week, but you're still behind for the season. Don't you think you're catching up, buddy? Because you're 30-13-1, and I'm 32-11-1. So,
I'll be there after this week.
we'll find out. We're going to start with Thursday night's game since we're doing the episode on Thursday, but we're posting on Friday. Thursday night's game, Bucks or Bears?
I like the Bucks in this game. Tom Brady was on another level last week against the Chargers, coming out and scoring 5 touchdowns. The Bears, the only question I have on this Bears team is that offense. This defense is obviously a great defense, but what are you going to do offensively?
100% agree, like the Buccaneers as well. Tom Brady looked really well last week against the Chargers, and I think it's going to carry over this week. Next game, Panthers and Falcons. Will the Falcons start at 0-4, or will the Panthers get a win?
This is a tough one because I feel like if I go with the Falcons, then they'll just blow it. So I'm going to go with the Panthers.
All right, I'm going with the Falcons because their offense is too good to be 0-5. That's my thing.
It's true.
All right, battle of the undefeateds. Bills take on the Titans. Titans are off for a week, so who you like?
I like the Bills. I think Josh Allen's gonna have a great week. We're big fans of him here on this show, so we gotta keep the hype going for him.
For sure, my boy Josh Allen gonna ball out again. I like the Bills as well. Raiders and Chiefs.
I like the Chiefs.
I like the
For
Chiefs
sure.
too. Raiders are banged up a lot in the receiving core wise, and I just think the Chiefs can overpower it heavily with their offense they got. Cardinals and Jets. This should be an easy one.
Yeah, Cardinals.
I
think is Joe Flacco starting this week too for the Jets. So we'll see how that goes.
Eagles and Steelers.
I like the Steelers. I mean, this Eagles team beat a very banged up 49ers team last week, tied with the Bengals a week before. And I think everyone knows this Steelers team, I have high hopes for them this year.
100% like the Steelers as well. I think Big Ben's going to have a great year. And he has so far. And this Eagles team got lucky against a very weak 49ers team, and they tied with the Bengals. So, next game, Rams and the football team. Football team is starting Kyle Allen.
Yeah, I like the Rams in this one. Their defense is just another level. It'll be interesting to see how Kyle Allen does this week.
I agree. I like the Rams as well. I like the offense they bring. I mean, they're working real well, doing a 3 running back kind of quarterback there. Cam Akers, Malcolm Brown, and Darrell Henderson. And they have a good defense. Bengals and Ravens. Can Joe Burrow get 2 wins in a row?
I would say yes if it wasn't against this Ravens team. This Ravens team is tough. Their secondary are true ball hawks. I mean, watching that last week, their offense obviously is deadly with Lamar, so I'm going to have to go with the Ravens.
I like the Ravens as well. I mean, Joe Burrow's having a great year so far. It's his first year out there, but that Ravens team is too much for him to handle off the bat.
Is it too early to say he might get Rookie of the Year?
No. I don't see him catching him for that, honestly. Jaguars and Texans. This one's kind of tough, I feel like, but I know who I'm leaning for.
This one's, I want to go with the Texans. I think their 4 games that they've played, like I've said 3 times in this episode, probably the 4 toughest games anyone's played so far this year. I think without Bill O'Brien, I think that's like a cancer out of the locker room for them. So I think Deshaun Watson's going to have a field day against this Jaguars team.
I like the Jaguars. I think when you just fire your head coach, your team's going to be off chemistry from the gate, the first game for sure, and Minshew Mania. I got to go with it. I'm sorry. Next game, Dolphins and 49ers.
I like the 49ers. I mean, this Dolphins team, if Tua was starting, I'd maybe put them in there. I think that's probably a good start for them, but this 49ers team, I think they're too good even with all their injuries that they have for this Dolphins team.
I like the 49ers as well, but like I'm with you, but like Tua's got to start eventually. He's got to play here soon.
Yeah.
Because the Dolphins, they had the Texans first round pick in next year's draft. The way Texans are looking, they're gonna have a top 10 pick. Miami's gonna have a top 10 pick. So you find out now and get someone new. So I like the 49ers though.
Yeah, I just think it'd be way too early to draft another quarterback next year for him.
I agree, but if he can't perform, he's still unhealthy. You might as well.
That's true.
And then if he's the one for you, you can draft 2 key offensive guys around him.
Right. Yeah.
Next game, Colts and Browns. Colts
I like this
last week.
Yeah, I like this Colts team. Surprisingly, the Browns did come out with that win last week against the Cowboys, but they didn't look that good.
No.
They just,
Colts team has a better defense. I like the Colts.
Yeah. I don't even know how to explain how they got that win. They just did. So yeah, I like the Colts.
Talking about the Cowboys. Cowboys versus Giants. Who you like?
I like the Cowboys. I think Dak is probably set for another 450-plus yards. This is a very shaky defense for the Giants, and they don't have Saquon, so
yeah, it's Cowboys for sure. Broncos and Patriots game. This game might be postponed based upon the COVID going on since Stephon Gilmore has it. And I'm not for sure if Cam's out still or not.
I think even with Cam out, I think Patriots still win this. I just think that they're too good of a team.
See, here's my concern. I would say the Patriots if Stephon Gilmore was at least playing. I would say that right now. But since he's out too now, I like the Broncos.
I did forget you said he had that, but I'm going to still keep my pick, which means that defense is very shaky now if he's out this week.
100%. Vikings and Seahawks.
Ooh. This is going to be a good game, I feel like, if Kirk Cousins shows up. But obviously cannot go against Russ this year in his MVP year. And who's to say if Kirk Cousins shows up or not? So, Seahawks.
Seahawks, without a doubt, too. I like. Russell Wilson's another level this year. I'm liking him a lot. Monday Night Football, Saints versus Chargers.
This is going to be a good game as well, I think. With what Herbert did last week with going against Tom Brady, I want to see how he'll do going against another Hall of Fame quarterback. I just think the experience in this Saints offense is going to be a little too much for this Chargers team.
I agree. I like the Saints as well. And plus, Austin Eckler is out for the Chargers. And that's a whole big hurt for the Chargers offense. That's NFL picks for the week. Kevin and I do it every week. See who has the best bragging rights of the year. And it's always fun to do. See what he thinks and what I think as well. Moving on to college football. Oh, that was bad. Took a moment there. College football. Let's give a little quick takeaways real quick from the recap. Texas A&M, overrated. Yes. Oklahoma lost 2 straight games for the first time since 1999. Downfall year. And that's about all I got from the recap.
Yeah. Probably couldn't have said anything better there, which I'm very surprised that Oklahoma lost that game. I kind of feel like that one with Kansas State was coming because they beat Jalen Hurts and that stacked offense last year. I feel like they probably could have done it again this year with that shaky offense that they have. But against Iowa State, man, I did not see that coming at all.
To me, it's like a night game in Iowa State. W did with Will Greer. They lost there. So that's what I kind of like.
It's definitely tough, but, I mean, that offense, I just didn't expect them to lose like that. But It's kind of understandable having Spencer Rattler as a brand new quarterback. It's like I have explained to people. Spencer, no quarterback in that system's really been kind of just thrown into playing Big 12 competitors right off the bat. So at least every other quarterback that's been in that system has been able to play these at least two or one or two. I don't even know what you call them, cupcake games.
You can call that, but you look at Oklahoma's schedule the past couple of years, first couple 3-week seasons, 3 weeks into the season, they played Ohio State.
I mean, they at least had one though. At least one cupcake game they would have. So
they had Montana State this year. Don't make excuses for Spencer Rattler.
Did they play Montana State this year?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the first game. That's right, and he put up like 300 some yards.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough. I think he'll be good after this year. I mean, it's kind of a stepping stone for him.
You got Texas this week, so you better be good.
Yeah, that Red River rivalry.
Exactly. 5-star weekend showdown came out and do this every week. We picked 5 players who performed well. Maybe they weren't 5 stars coming out of high school, but were there a 5-star this past weekend? Caleb, give me your number 5.
My number 5 is Zamir White from Georgia. He had 19 carries, 88 yards, and 2 touchdowns. As they blew my pick for that week. So I'm very upset about that.
My number 5 guy is the quarterback out of BYU, Zach Wilson, 24 for 26, 325 yards and 2 TDs in that monster win versus Louisiana Tech on Friday night. BYU is a team to look out for. Zach Wilson is the truth. I'll say that right there.
My number 4 is Kyle Trask from Florida, 21 for 29, 268 yards and 4 touchdowns. As I think, I don't know. Kyle Trask is on another level this year. Last year he was on another level, but it seems like every year we just have that one SEC quarterback that just goes off. And I feel like this might be Kyle Trask's year to kind of go off.
I agree. My number 4 is a nationwide sports talk veteran who I interviewed last year, Alabama's receiver, John Mechie III. What a game he had against Texas A&M. 5 catches, 181 yards, and 2 TDs. Shout out John Mechie. You the man.
My number 3 is Letty Brown from WVU, 27 carries, 93 yards, and 2 touchdowns. As his second touchdown was able to secure that overtime victory against Baylor. Nice win for WVU.
For sure. Number 3 on my list is Mac Jones, quarterback out of Alabama, 20 for 27, 435 yards, 4 TDs, 1 pick against Texas A&M. And you said SEC quarterbacks, one goes off every year. Mac Jones.
My number 2 is John Mechie, the third from Alabama, 5 receptions, 181 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Like you said, he went off, and I expect more of that from him as well.
My boy John Mechie III. My number 2 guy is Reggie Robertson, wide receiver from SMU. 5 catches, 243 yards, 2 TDs versus Memphis. And it was a good game, 30-27 win for SMU.
That's my number 1 guy. So, my number 1 guy is Reggie Robertson, as you said, from SMU. 5 receptions, 243 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This kid has some true speed. Like, he is unreal.
My number 1 guy is Khalil Herbert, the running back out of Virginia Tech. He had 20 carries, 208 yards, and 2 TDs versus Duke out of Virginia Tech. Now, when he had against Duke, 38-31. That's 5-star weekend showdown. Shout out to all the contenders in that one. Y'all had a great week. Keep it going because you can be on it again. Because we talked about Reggie Robertson plenty of times last year. I know for a fact.
Yeah.
I know for a fact.
He's been on at least 2 of my lists. He was on my list last week, and he's been on my list this week. So, you
shine, we find.
Yeah. He's literally shined 2 years in a row. So, it's like you said, if you shine, you'll be on this list.
Exactly. So the best games of the week that I have, and I've noticed, number 19, Virginia Tech takes on number 9, UNC. Number 7, Miami takes on number 1, Clemson. That's going to be a good game, I feel like. And number 14, Tennessee takes on number 3, Georgia. Out of those 3 games, which one are you looking forward to most?
I want to say this North Carolina game. This this Virginia Tech team has a pretty good defense. They've always had a pretty good defense. And Sam Howell, I think.
You love Sam Howell, just like you love Bo Nix.
Yeah. I was kind of arguing against him yesterday, though. Tavis and a couple of his teammates were trying to say that he was the better quarterback out of that behind Trevor Lawrence, saying that he's going to be the best one. I argued Shane Buechele is probably going to be the best one out of this year's draft, just because that kid has a cannon. But, yeah, I mean, Sam Howell's an animal. I think he's going to be able to take advantage of this defense. And his play recognition and where he can put the ball is unreal. So I have to go with North Carolina in this one.
All right. The game I'm looking forward to, I mean, everyone's looking for that Miami and Clemson game. And I'm not going to lie, I think Clemson might blow them out. I'm just going to say that because you look at Miami's played beforehand, and that's why. I'm looking for this Tennessee and Georgia game because Tennessee's noted had the best O-line in college football. It's noted, it's stated, it's facted. Georgia just beat up on Bo Nix and Auburn last week. Okay, they're coming with a big win. Tennessee, I'm not going to lie. Everyone says every year Texas is back. But now they're saying Tennessee with a third-year head coach, they're starting to rise a little bit. So when you rise, you got to face a big dog. And I want to see this game, see how someone who's on the rise is facing a guy who's already risen, who's already raised, or rose, however you want to say it, started at the top. So I'm looking forward to that game, a nice SEC matchup. Great defenses are going to be battling out for each other. And I think this could be a good win for Georgia, even if they say it's not. I think it's going to be a good win for Georgia if Georgia wins. And I'm going to say it's going to be a shocking win if Tennessee wins.
Yeah, I agree with both of those statements. Two games that I'm actually looking forward to that you didn't name is obviously that Red River rivalry. I want to see.
I didn't mention that game because let's be real.
I don't know though. I mean,
it's just a fact. That's why I didn't mention it.
I definitely think Texas is overrated. I don't know though. Can they beat this Oklahoma team after they drop two straight? It's going to be tough. I mean, that's why I like that game, just because it's going to be a good challenge. I mean,
the game's always a hard-fought game though, so it's really a challenge. Is. It's always a hard-fought game, no matter if each team was 0-10.
Another game I like though is this TCU Kansas State game, because TCU did come up with that upset last week against Texas, and then Kansas State's following that upset against Oklahoma, and I think they had a bye week last week after that upset. They beat Texas Tech. So
we went to overtime with Texas.
Here's two teams though that have knocked off top teams, and I mean I remember when Kansas State was like the top dog of the Big 12. You think maybe they're starting back up that way with Skylar Thompson?
No.
That was a quick no.
No.
They're 2-1 though. 2-0 in the Big 12. I mean, that's something.
Okay. Look at Oklahoma's schedule. Right now, what's Oklahoma sitting at? 1-2?
But it's something for Kansas State though.
Is it really?
2 years in a row knocking off the big dog of the big dog of the Big 12.
What did they do after beating Oklahoma last year?
Pretty sure they dropped almost all their games, didn't they?
Exactly.
Hey, from what I've heard, WVU has a lot of faith that they could beat Kansas State.
And we know Texas Tech is bad because they almost lost to Houston Baptist. Come on, bro.
Texas Tech really hasn't been that good since Pat was there, but
were they even good there? He won 5 games.
But he still put up like 500 some yards a game.
It don't matter. They still only won 5 games.
Okay, that offense was good. We'll say that.
They've been good since Michael Crabtree's been there.
I think this Kansas State TCU game will be good. I think the Oklahoma game and Texas game will be good. I think Oklahoma wins that though. I think Texas is a little too overhyped for their own good. But we shall see.
I mean, I think Texas is overhyped every year, but with Oklahoma, they lost a lot of players in that draft. they lost a lot of players. And yes, you gotta all the recruiting you gotta do to fill the spots. The backups already coming in. It's just the fact that you gotta know what your team has and build with it. Lincoln Riley is a quarterback whisperer. You and I both agree on that because he had Baker, Kyler, and Hurts. We know that. It's set in stone. Spencer Rattler is not like those three guys.
Not at all.
Spencer Rattler, from watching that show, QB1, is an arrogant guy. Baker can be arrogant, but Kyler Murray's humble, and Jalen Hurts is the most humble guy that Lincoln Riley's probably ever coached.
Yeah, I mean, taking that back seat to Tua is not easy. So, I mean, even that right there just shows you how humble and I would say I wouldn't say lenient, but I can't think of a word. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I really want to see what Lincoln Riley can do with this team. But for West Virginia's instance, I hope that they don't figure it out so that WVU can get some spotlight this year and hopefully crack the top 25.
We'll see. All right, Caleb, say your peace, love, and goodbyes.
Well, guys, it's been another great week. I will see you guys next week. Watch some sports. If you can, depending on how big of a blowout this Lakers game is tonight, watch it. Try to enjoy it. But definitely watch football this weekend. Definitely watch the boy Bo Nix go off, hopefully, and have a bounce-back week. And we'll see you guys next week.
I'm Matt Mackey. I'm signing off here. Enjoy the weekend so far. Watch tonight's NBA Finals game. It should be a good one. I mean, the past 3 games have been good, been close ones. Enjoy it. See LeBron get a ring if he wins. See the Lakers get a 17th title if they win. Or see the Heat keep fighting and scratching and clawing to rise up from a 3-1 deficit. And after that, watch some college football. Good games to look out for. A lot of top 25 games are coming in the mix now, and I'm liking it a lot. And the NFL, you got to enjoy while you can because with COVID going on, it might be ending soon. You never know. So enjoy it while you can. So watch sports, enjoy the weekend. And I'm Matt Mackey, and I'm signing off, y'all.
Cause lately I ain't been the same, feel like I'm stuck in a maze. And I'm just trying to get out, I'm trying to